What on earth is going on in the real estate market right here in the Tampa Bay area? I'm Kaitlyn. I'm a real estate agent right here in the Tampa Bay area. And right now we're going to go and look at the October market statistics from the majority of the state of Florida and even more narrow here in the Hillsborough County. Let's get started. Okay, here we are with the October 2023 statistics. Again, this is the majority of Florida, actually, multiple counties. I think it's like 23 now or something like that. So pretty much the majority of the main part of Florida, obviously barring South Florida and the Panhandle, but the majority of like the big central area of Florida. So the active listings for October of 2023 were up 10% from September. So they're up to 48,281. Again, this is active listings. Now, new listings for October are up 3% from September, which is up to 20,079. Now, the one thing to notice here is that things are looking to trend up, it looks like, for most of the sales and the more granular things like that. We'll go down to the next row and we'll kind of unpack all of that as well. Again, for October of 2023, our pending sales are up from September of 2023. Only about 1%, but that is a good thing. Our listings sold, though, are down 7% from September of 2023, and of course down from the previous year as well. Now, this isn't really anything to fret about per se or anything like that. It is pretty telling that here for the holidays, we are getting close to those holidays and less people are wanting to search and really do stuff seriously just because they'd rather focus on the holidays and all that good stuff. So we may see some upticks, we may see some downticks, but it won't be too telling of the market per se, really. Now, as we get into January and into the new year and everything, we will have a little more, I guess, of a visual of what the market may entail and what the market might look like in next year. But as it stands right now, things are pretty steady currently, or at least from looking at these statistics and seeing the trends from previous months. So next up, we have our next row, which starts with ADOM, which means average days on market. So that is about 41 days that a home sits on the market right now here in all of the Central Florida market and everything, the stellar MLS market. And that is actually exactly the same as it was in September, which is not a bad thing. It's a little more telling of a normal market when you're just looking at the numbers and the statistics like this. Now, when we think about everything else that's going on in the market and the interest rates having been so high and all of that good stuff, it just means that there are a little less buyers around and a little less buyers that are willing to go forward with things at the moment. Next up, we have our total sales volume. So for October of 23, it was 6 billion, where it is down 7% from September of 2023, where it was 6.5 billion, which for such a small number, it could just mean that there were differences in sale prices and all that good stuff. I mean, not always are all of the same houses at the same prices, all selling month after month, correct? It's all going to be different, especially when we're talking about such a big coverage area here. Next up, we have our average sales price, which is $456,957, which is less than $1,000 change from September of 2023, which is not much at all. Again, shows that things are staying pretty steady, pretty even along the line and everything. No, huge bumps, huge downfalls, nothing like that. We're staying pretty steady. Even only up 3% from last year. So things, again, are staying pretty steady at this moment in time. Now, last but certainly not least, we have months of inventory. So for October of 2023, we had 3.6 months of inventory, which when we just look at those numbers like that, usually means we are at more of an even market. But again, looking at all of the other factors at play and everything, it doesn't quite mean the same. Now, it is up a little bit from September of 2023, which was 3.1 months of inventory, but again, just a slight uptick. Again, we're looking at the holidays and all that good stuff, so we are going to see probably a little bit more of that as things go along. Okay, so here we are at Matrix, which is, within Stellar MLS. I have gone in and I have pulled the data for December 2022 to November 2023, residential homes here in Florida, more specifically here in Hillsborough County. You'll see that it gives us about 20,000 listings. We are looking at the days to sell versus the average sales price. So, as I always say, make sure to take these numbers for November, since we're still in November, with a grain of salt, just because those could fluctuate up and down quite a bit. We do have to wait for all of the data for November to be entered. So the next report on November's numbers and November's information will be mid-December. So as we go back, we see that the average sales price was $457,000, $470,000, $459,000, $469,000, $459,000, $487,000. It's been in that upper 400s. And the median days to sell, it's been 24, 31, 32, 26. It's been up there a little bit. Early 2023, it looks like things were still a little more concerning with that huge hike that we had in the interest rates in the third to last quarters of 2022. So again, 2023's numbers were reflecting that. You see the information a little bit later and everything, or you see the results of that a little bit later. But we do see in May, June, July, and August, it only took about 2 weeks for a home to sell here in the Tampa Bay area, here in Hillsborough County at least, whereas the average sales prices went up to 516, 507, 522, 500. Now for October, we are seeing a little bit higher of a days to sell, while a little lower of a average sales price. But again, this is a more telling of the market timing and everything. The holidays are coming up. In October, people start to kind of just focus on the holidays and not about trying to move if they need to and everything. A lot more people then wait to set their goals for the new year and then start searching again at that point instead of trying to do all that headache in between the holidays. So we do just see that reflected here. But it is interesting to note that we are trending higher in sales price, an average sales price, but lower in days to sell than the majority of the rest of Florida, which is good news and bad news. Obviously, depending on the side of the coin you're on, it can be neutral for anybody who may be doing both. It's kind of, you get the plus on one side while you get the negative on the other side. But that's just kind of how things go a lot of times, especially if you're selling to buy something else or something along those lines. So there's our statistics for the Tampa Bay market here just this last month in October of 2023. If you have any questions on any of these numbers or just want to see what your situation may look like, go ahead and reach out to me at the link in the description. We can set up a chat and we can go over everything that you may need to know, anything pertinent to your situation that I may need to know, whether you want to buy or sell, or buy and sell, or just sell, or whatever the case may be. Let's sit down and chat and see what things look like for you. And we can go about finding the best course of action, whether it's now or later or whatever the case may be. As always, make sure to subscribe to this channel for everything Tampa, especially for you and your fur babies. And check out this playlist here for all other market reports.